everyone, it's Hannah and I have another special video today all about glass beads, and this time we're going to look at India. So we're going to look at beaded jewelry and mostly vintage beaded jewelry, and also some newer modern jewelry pieces that you will find a lot today. And we will also look at some common bead types that are from other countries that are often misidentified with India glass beads. So I have here just some examples of what I'll be showing. We are going to take a look down at the table and look at these glass beads. So let's get into it. Okay, here we are looking down on the table at all this beautiful glass jewelry and beads from India. Now I want to show one book that I'm going to be referencing a lot, and it is this Beads of the World by Peter Francis Jr. And this is a great book to have if you love to collect beads or just really interested in them. There's a great section on India beads, not just glass beads. If you're interested in stone or shell or wood beads, there is a nice section about it, but we are just going to look at glass beads. Just in general, I'm not like a bead expert. Some people may consider me, but I feel like I'm just scratching the surface on glass beads in general. So I just like to present you with the information that I have found and I think would be really helpful to those who collect, those who resell jewelry, and they want to know what they have, where it's from, so that they can get the buyers who are looking for it to find it. And it's also very helpful just if you're a collector, just if you're interested in this. With that being said, we'll just go in a little bit about some of the history. I'm not going to go too much into it because this book that I showed you by Peter Francis Jr., he has a lot of info about the history there. But I'll just go over a general history because I don't want this video to be too long. Glass bead making first originated in the Middle East, so very close to India. So glass bead making goes way back. In the book it says about 1000 BC. Now, it's not as old as stone bead making, which is really what India is known for and regions close by. The biggest, longest bead exporting city in India is modern day Varanasi. I could be pronouncing that wrong. It's also called Benares, and that is in northern India. Now we're going to look at two different types of beads, and I'm going to grab just two examples right here. We're going to look at furnace wound beads, and then we're going to look at lamp worked beads. First is furnace wound. Now, how these are made is you get a hot iron rod and you poke hot glass into a crucible, which is just like another iron, almost like a bowl. It'll have a divot, and you can stick that into a furnace and it'll melt the glass. So you stick it with a hot iron to get the bead hole, and typically the bead holes will be very wide, and you can see here, and I'll get another bead. See, the bead holes are pretty wide, and you can almost see, especially here, they'll knock off the beads, and sometimes like this one got chipped, and you can almost see like a break, like maybe some glass was chipped off there. And so they'll be very, irregularly shaped. So that's one way glass beads are made, and you will find this in India beads. Now, another way is lamp worked. These are pretty common. Let me get another one as well. You'll the Venetians lamp work, Czech lamp work, you know, all different countries have done lamp working. So it's not like these two techniques are only done in India, but these are the most popular way that they make beads in India. So these are lamp worked. And what you take is a glass cane, so it'll be a long, thin rod of stretched out glass that's already been heated and stretched. And with the cane in one hand, you'll have like a rod or a piece of wire, or what's often called the bead mandrel in the other hand. And it'll be coated in like a bead release. And I just found this out, but a lot of times it's coated in kaolin, which is a type of clay. So it could be that's what these are coated in. You can see in there, it's also white. So it's probably a type of clay. And you'll take the cane of glass, you'll heat it up under a flame or lamp. That's where the word lamp work comes from. The flame will be shooting away from the person, but right in front of them. And then you'll heat the cane, and then you'll have the wire, and you'll wrap the cane that's starting to melt around the wire. And then a lot of times they're annealed or fire polished after their lamp work, added all the decorations to make them smooth. You could get really creative with this. So like this one, they took some pinchers, pinched it while it was still molten. You add decorations. This one has like little dots added to it. Another way to see that these are lamp worked is the bead holes will be smaller, more uniform in shape. And then not always, but I find it especially with beads made in India, you will see the bead release. Now, sometimes they can be cleaned. I don't really often see that. They're normally left in there. So that's the two type of glass beads that we'll look at. So now we'll look at like finished beaded examples. So this this is a pretty common type of necklace. We've got these beautiful multicolored seed beads. And if you really look at these, they're not all shaped the same. But I want you to note the colors. You will often see these very primary, bright colors in glass beads from India. Now, if you compare these to like Czech or Venetian glass, I find glass from India is not as saturated. So even though these are bright, they're kind of a faded look to them, and you also find tons of bubbles in the transparent glass. We'll look at more so you can really see what I'm talking about. But I want to note this clasp. Now, there could be other countries and regions near India that have similar style necklace clasp, but more often than not, I find that these with the wire hook and then these hollow formed beads, and they have a seam on one side, and they're very lightweight. This is very thin metal. This often indicates to me that they're from India. Now, this one has different types of beads on it. And again, we have these thin, this is actually brass. Now, India is a huge exporter of brass, trinkets, anything, candlesticks. More often than not, if you find something brass, it'll have a sticker that says made in India. So it makes sense that you will find brass jewelry, and it's often made in India. Now, we're going to really take a look at these glass beads. And if you're familiar with Murano or Venetian glass, these are millefiori beads, and they are made in India. You can see here, they're kind of like a little star shaped, and there's not too many of the canes here, lamp work on here, and they're not completely smooth. You can see where they kind of pressed the canes of glass in there. And again, this is red color, but it's not real saturated color. Kind of a duller red. And here we have some blue ones as well. You can see here it's like a cobalt blue color. There's lots of bubbles. Let's see if we can get in there and see. There's a lot of bubbles in that lampwork glass. And then we have these little canes. Another indication that they're from India is that the craftsmanship is not quite there as compared to Venetian and Czech glass pieces. They're a little bit sloppy. I'm not saying that these are not like really nice beads. They are. But it's just a little bit different style, I guess I would say. And if you're interested, these other beads in here are bone. These little saucer beads, and then I'm pretty sure this is actually horn. It's not wood, but it's a really thick but lightweight material. So there's that one. Now this one's a little bit different because it is lamp worked, but these small beads here have been press molded, and you can tell because you can actually still see the seams. They kind of stick out here and they're not smooth. So these were not annealed, they were not fire polished. So a lot of times you will see Czech glass. They are fire polished. They are smooth, they are glossy. They are very, very nice. So you can see here these are not. And here's just some like amber colored glass beads, and they have the bead release in there. And these I really wanted to look at. These have really nice decorations here, and these are made to imitate the Venetian wedding cake beads. I also have a video on that. It's actually my most popular video to date. And if you look in here, these have a bead release in there. So a lot of modern India glass makers have now, so since the 80s, I would say, they've started to imitate Venetian, very popular, expensive glass beads. Now this one's really interesting because I wouldn't have necessarily known that these were beads from India. These are on a thick cord, hand knotted. They have a nice little frosted look. You see a lot of bubbles in there, and they are pressed. They're slightly twisted. The reason why I know is because it still has the tag on here, and it says Two's Company, made in India. I really love this clasp, like a toggle clasp with another bead there. This one's really nice and super heavy. It reminds me of sea glass. Really pretty colors. I want to also reiterate about finding these glass beads made in India. You'll sometimes find a tag attached. So I bought these necklaces just to show some of the packaging, and this is more modern. And it even has a little paper in there that says handmade in India. I'm going to leave that there and show this necklace that I opened up. And if you'll look in here, these are lampwork beads mixed with this white. It's a very like muted white color, and this bubbly clear blue. Got black here. And then we have these seed beads, which look very much just like these beads here. Now the yellow is more orange in this one, but the shapes are very similar, the colors are very similar. And another thing I want to note that I did a lot of research on, I'll share my proof, my evidence, my screenshots. These are wire linked together. I rarely see these labeled correctly. Most people get these confused and think they are Czech. They think they are either Venetian glass beads from the Art Deco era. Maybe because they're super long. Like this is a really long necklace. I want to show this one as well. This is a really long wire link necklace, and it still has the little cotton string there from where the tag was attached. I want to show you, this is an older necklace. I would say this is probably from the 70s. If you see here the wire links, they're rusted, and you will find that a lot in these necklaces. I don't know what kind of metal they used, but it just rusts over time. This one I believe is newer because, well, I bought these new old stock because they were still in the bag, so maybe just the moisture hasn't gotten to them. But I want you to see how these are linked together. They look like they were linked very quickly, and you know, the circles, they're not very round or consistent. They're just really linked together really quickly, and you'll often see that the wires wrapped around itself several times. Now with Czech glass, they will be linked in a similar style, but they will have jump rings in between, and they will be like very sturdy, very nice links. This is very thin wire, so that's another way to tell the difference. I'm going to share several screenshots of necklaces like this for sale where people have misidentified them. They've called them Venetian or Czech or Art Deco. These are not. These are from the 70s, 80s. This one's probably newer. These were really popular with the hippies. Hippies had a fascination with Eastern culture, wore a lot of beaded jewelry. That's where like the hippie love beads come from, with the colored seed bead just simply strung, lots of glass beads. I think of Janis Joplin. She wore a ton of, you know, beaded necklaces. So I'm really thinking about doing another video just specifically on these types of glass beads. I'll probably do that because I think it's really important to really share the right information. There's just so much misinformation out there, and you know, especially with things with beads, there's so much info. More that I research, the less I feel like I know. But this is something that I have really searched quite a lot to make sure that I knew that this was actually the truth about these beads, and they are. I've looked at the bead research forum and see what these people have said. You know, they were actual bead dealers back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, and they would buy these beads from India, from Japan, you know, wherever. They would get these sample cards, know which ones they wanted to order, so they knew where these beads were from and about what time they were made. Another thing that I found is in this book. It has a little thing about India glass beads, and it has this picture here. And I want you to look at how these are wired, and also look at these beads here. Look at the shapes. Look at they're colorful but kind of muted. And if you read this here, Benares, which is the biggest city, longest running city in India that's produced glass beads, says the Czechs actually taught them lamp working in the 1940s. And you will find these types of beads in Indian markets. So that is a very big clue right there, along with what else I found in the forums. So I just thought that was really fascinating. I thought you guys would really like to know that. So that's really all I have to share with you today about India glass beads. I may do another video. I might get more jewelry along the way and show more examples, but I just really wanted to show what I had and talk about these wire link beads. I think that's really important. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I just want to ask one thing of you guys is to please share this video. I think it's really important that people know the truth. So I hope this was really helpful to you guys. If you guys have any other comments, any other info you would like to share, I would love to hear it. I've really been just really loving India glass and really just diving into it and learning about it. So I will link this book, Beads of the World, in my description so you can get the info if you want to buy it. You know, I highly recommend getting this. And like I said before, I'll link my playlist for my educational bead videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, if you found it helpful, and also please share it. And I will see you guys in the next one.